The $90,000 study done by Convention Sports and Leisure International looked at two revised plans. The report says expanding San Diego's convention center is a financial win for the city. Here with an update on the city-sponsored study, ongoing litigation over the project, and new design plans are my guest, urban designer Howard Blackson of Michael Baker International, and Scott Lewis, editor-in-chief at Voice of San Diego. And Scott, now the city contributed to this $90,000 price tag for this study. What did the report find?
Well, we were waiting for it for a long time because it was supposed to give us guidance on whether the same expansion that they've been planning for years, a bigger building basically, was preferred, or whether a campus style where they would do a separate facility across the street, whether that was preferred. And the study found that the bigger building was going to make more money, at least in the short term, if not over the entire term of what they looked at. And so basically they said it would benefit in two ways. One, in the economic activity to downtown and to San Diego, but then also to the tax base, that we as a city have a 10% stake in the outcome of how hotels do. And they said we would get more money out of it. Now, you could question that because as the convention center industry across the country is not necessarily growing, people aren't going on more conventions. We're just trying to protect our slice of it. And so they say we have to grow our facility to do that.
Let me ask you this, though. There's pending litigation over the Coastal Commission's approval of expanding the convention center at its current site. So would building at the campus site or the other, across the street, would that end that litigation?
It would. The attorney who's pushing that, Corey Briggs, has said that that's his preferred settlement, but the mayor very clearly chose not to try to put to rest this litigation by choosing that instead, and so we're up for a big fight. He's basically looked at the situation and said, well, here's the hardest route, but it's still the most beneficial, and he's going to plow forward with it. And it's hard not only because of that litigation, but because also he said we're going to have to raise taxes for that, and tax increases for a specific project require 2/3 vote approval.
Yes, and we want to come back to that, and you're speaking of Mayor Faulkner on that. But Howard, first, this revised campus plan, let's talk a little bit more about that. It calls for these separate building or buildings within walking distance to the convention center. As an urban designer, do you see that one plan is more beneficial than another?
I do see that the contiguous expansion plan is the short-term preference, and that is what we have today, is this one building. However, as we push, this is the last step into the Bay, and the inevitable is that we have to go to a campus plan, and it also meets the needs of the future conventions. While conventions might not be expanding in the conventional way of the past, they will continue and grow, and they're growing towards a campus-style plan where the experience of the place is as important as the space available for lease.
And when you're talking about the experience here, San Diego specifically is known for its outdoor and walkable neighborhoods. Is that something you think is important?
I think that looking at the campus plans, the convention centers in Moscone and San Francisco, Orlando should tell us that places with really great weather and really great cities are better than the Vegas or the Atlanta style single building. So yes, taking advantage of our greatest opportunity of being outdoors is a good idea.
And Scott, how much would either of these expansions, if they went through, cost, and where would that money come to pay for it?
Well, the estimate is at $549 million for the bigger building. And I think, but I bet you we're going to start to see a smaller design emerge from that, and so it'll probably be even less than that. But there's basically one source, that tax increase we talked about of the hotel room tax. Right now, if you stay in a hotel room, you pay 10.5% to the city, 2% to the hotel sort of group, and then you pay, and so they want to raise that. There would be money from the Port Commission, and there might be money in the past plan. There was money coming just from the city's general fund.
Let's touch back on that vote again, the public vote. As you mentioned, it would take 2/3 approval to increase the tax. Do you think that's likely? Everything has to be in line for a 2/3 vote. It bears remembering that in 2004, the city tried to raise the hotel room tax and it was supported by everybody, by hotels, by police, by fire, and only got 64% of the vote. So getting that 66.7% of the vote is a very high hurdle, and absolutely no one can be against it for it to pass. All right, so we are out of time. We'll have more on this on our website at kpbs.org. Scott Lewis and Howard Blackson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.